next thing you know, they're all in. And it makes 74 just the weight of weights for the World Championships.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's got Dake, it's got Sidakov, it's got Kadi. Chamizo is entered, yes, I believe. So I thought he was suspended, but maybe his suspension's up, short suspension. And
well, it goes back to the date that you tested positive, too, sometimes. So
perfect.
That's why if you haven't been active for like 6 months, your suspension could have started actually 6 months before.
Got it. So the field is totally insane, and I put out some tweets of just about what 74 could look like, how the draws could fall for Kyle Dake potentially with Sidakov and Kadi Magomedov, the Olympic champion, Olympic silver medalist, being drawn in. And it's crazy because he could hit those guys in round 1 and round 2 and then have like someone Sal Kazanov in the quarters. Like that's on the table. And candidly, and I understand, like I have a primarily exclusively an American wrestling fan audience, and everyone is just like, Dake is the bad draw. Dake is like, listen.
No, but that's such a bad take.
I know, but I'm seeing it so everywhere.
I know. I saw it too. I saw it on your post.
I just want everyone to know, Dake got teched by Kadi Magomedov.
What's going there?
Sidakov beat that guy 7-0. Sidakov has never lost at a World or Olympic Championships. Okay?
Wait,
he
really?
is really.
Yeah, I guess not.
He's basically never lost in any relevant.
He lost domestically a few times.
Yes, but he is on an all-time trajectory. And
how many has he won? Four, Christian?
18, 19, 21 Olympics. So I guess only 3.
Only 3. Because
he didn't do 21 Worlds and 22 Worlds he wasn't allowed to go. Mm-hmm. So now he's back. So he's 3, but he beat Burroughs twice and then he won a field. He dominated a field that had Kyle Dake in it. And so if we didn't live in America, like everywhere else, Sidakov is a prohibitive favorite, right? And that's not to say Kyle can't win, but it is, I think, totally dismissive of how good Zauerbach is and a little bit of Kadi Magomedov. What gives me why I'm not as worried, and for sure I'm biased American here, but I've seen Dake get handled before and figure it out. Against Gazi Magomedov of Russia, this guy beat him kind of bad at the Oregon. And then Dake, in I believe it was his first world championship, like teched him, killed him, right? This guy is a machine and a computer and just a wrestling genius, and I don't expect the mistakes of Tokyo to be repeated, and it's going to be a very different Kyle Dake. And this guy's lost 1 match in 5 years, which is totally absurd. So absolutely, I would expect him to beat Kadi Magomedov in a rematch. Sidakov is a different cat, though, and I think that's dismissed. And we don't have the benefit of feeling Sidakov a time prior, right? It's not like with Jordan where he had a crack at him before. This will be his first crack at another bona fide wrestling genius. Now, Kyle can win, but it's uphill, and if Vegas were setting a money line for this, Kyle would be an underdog.
Oh, hold on. Well, I think he would start as an underdog, and then I think that
the influx of American money.
I think that a lot of people start betting on him and would go towards even line. Because I think if you gave a lot of Americans the option to bet on Kyle as an underdog, they would bet that for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. So I just think there just needs to be a little more respect for that field, and that's no disrespect to Kyle Dake. I think he absolutely can win and beat Kadi, etc. But
so this is your Christian Piles money. Would you put him as the favorite? How would you handicap the field?
No, I would not make Kyle Dake the favorite.
Okay, who would you make Sidakov the favorite?
Absolutely, I would make Kyle the second.
How far down do you put Dake?
He's second favorite.
Second.
Yeah, for sure. What about you? You have all these betting sponsorships, Ben. I don't have
one.
I
really only one. Well, yeah, one, and then I invested in Verdict. I would probably make him and Sidakov like the same level, right? So when you make a field thing, right, it would probably be like him and Sidakov, like just a little bit, like almost the same, and then probably Kadi and Chimizo down a little bit, and then maybe a field bet or something after that.
Okay. What do you think, JD?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Ben. You make them both like minus 110 or something like that.
Something like that.
I will say, if you're looking for positive for American fans, Sidakov has shown some chinks in the armor as of recently. Took a loss to Bezoev in July, I believe it was. Obviously, went on to beat Valiev and make the world team. And I'm not saying that was peak Sidakov, but I am saying he did not look good in that match. He did nothing. And for that reason, I'm going Dake. I'm picking Dake.
Love it. One thing that's interesting about Russians, in general, I think the European style, is their World Championships Olympic performance versus non look really, really different. Whereas I feel like for America, we stay pretty close to that peak competition threshold. We've seen a lot of matches where we're like, oh, Sadulayev looks vulnerable. He looked out of shape. This dude scored on him, et cetera, all excited. And then, boom, he shows up to Worlds, and it's like, what were we thinking?
Smash.
It's like smash. Yes, absolutely. And so it wouldn't surprise me if, Sidakov basically got put on the Olympic team, if you recall. He
lost
he
a
hit
2020 Russian national.
He hit a freaking Granby roll across his back in a match they didn't call too. Like they were.
That was the match. I was just talking about this in practice last night, and I couldn't remember what match it was, Christian.
It was Sidakov. You should have called me.
Oh, I couldn't remember.
And so that would have changed the winner of that match. So, and that's a primary example. Then this guy goes to the Olympic Games and massacres. I mean, he folded up Kadi, right? So I think you just have to have that tax, and I love it because it can always get us a little excited and a little bit of hope. But there is just something about Russia when it matters most that they do periodization really, really well. And
I don't know if it's periodization. I think to your point, they
care more.
They what?
They care more.
Stop. No, I think it's that they if their peak level is here, right, and what you kind of said this earlier, Christian, the Americans maybe stay like right here, right, just a little below, but they're willing to go down. They probably take a bunch of time off. They go down here for the non-important ones. So I think it is more variance in their performance. Probably a maybe a better way to describe it, in my opinion.
And I meant they care more about. I should have said they care less. Like they care less about going and winning Aliev or something like that. They're not as worried about having a good performance there. Whereas Americans go out and every time, not saying Russians don't want to win when they compete at those tournaments, but they're more likely to toss their hands up, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they lose. But that's why but then they care a lot, obviously, about Worlds, Europeans, Olympics.
So 74, that kicks off Sunday morning. So that definitely want to keep an eye there. World starts Saturday morning at 4:30 a.m. Eastern. So be ready for that. We'll have Vito Zane Rutherford, David Taylor, Mason Paris going in day one.
Let's go.
Starting at 4:30, semis at 1 p.m. Eastern for that day. And then Sunday is Chance, Zahid, Zane Richards, Kyle Dake. Again, starting at 4:30. Semis, 10:45 a.m. Medal matches at noon Eastern. And all this is on the website, FloWrestling. And we're going to have a pinned tweet and Instagram post so you can quickly refer to all that stuff and who's wrestling. And another very important thing, and covering international wrestling and following it is not as simple as following the Southern Scuffle on FloWrestling. So if you want to know like who's coming up when, you need to go to arena.uww.org, and it has like the live, basically mat assignments. So you can look at mat A, okay, Zane's up in 3, this guy's up in 2, and we're up in 9 on here, and they're updating that in real time. So
nice.
it can be done. You can follow this, and we're trying to make it as simple as possible for you guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Maybe I thought you guys were going to all track.
What?
Oh, Arenas, that's their website.
Yeah.
Arena.uww.
Oh. Well, that's confusing because you guys had an arena also.
Yeah. It is confusing.
It is so confusing.
Okay.
I gave my pick. Who you got?
Man. Kyle always says I pick against him, when really that's not.
You better pick Kyle Dake or you're not American. Let's go.
It's not true. It's just not true that I always pick against
Take
him.
his citizenship.
Whose? Kyle's?
No, yours.
I'm taking it.
I pick Americans at a way higher rate than makes any sense whatsoever. I'm Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for sure.
Yeah, Russian red, white, and blue.
No, I've got. No, you are. Hold on. You're the freaking Russian spy.
And I picked Dake.
Yeah, me too.
He was damn near coming.
So did I. I picked him first. I picked him in 2021, back when he didn't win. So how's that sound? I picked him to win and he didn't. But I'll pick him again to win, and I think he will. Oh, it's gonna be tough, but
also don't forget, Kadi and Sidakov will be randomly drawn in.
Yeah. To
the bracket. So I personally hope Kyle gets to wrestle both of them and beats both of them.
I know. It would be so perfect if he did. But I don't know.
That's going to be so...
I mean, are we more worried about... Cause if I was laying odds, I'm more worried about Sedulayev getting drawn in at 97 than I am Sidakov. I think Sidakov and Dake even money, but... Man, at this point, and do I think it could have changed? Of course, right? But I want to see it before I believe it. Sedulayev getting drawn into Snyder's bracket makes me more nervous.
Why that doesn't make me nervous is because if those two hit early, I am supremely confident that Sedulayev will go on to make the finals and pull Kyle into repechage if he loses. There's a much higher probability that if Kyle were to lose to Kadi or Sidakov early, that one of those two goes down and then he doesn't get to wrestle for a medal at all.
Yeah. Fair. But yeah, Sedulayev is like maybe the greatest wrestler who ever lived. So yeah, if him getting randomly drawn in is definitely of higher concern. But to JD's point, there's no scenario. And honestly, just to say it, these things have a way of working themselves out with the draw. I don't think, although they did Yazdani Taylor round one, I don't think they would let that happen with Snyder Liev.
I'm pretty sure they use a electronic system.
Oh yeah, the blockchain is infallible. It's powered by.
I thought they still do the. It's just a number, right?
Yeah. I think so, but it's like done on a blockchain, so that's supposed to mean something to us. If people say something's on a blockchain, then it's just like, oh, okay.
I thought that went on a style now.
The blockchain, I think, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not really all that valuable for a lot of these things that it just doesn't make any sense on.
Yeah.
The blockchain's valuable because you can't go back and change it because it's time stamped. But with something like this, it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
Just to show how deep 74 is, besides the big three that we've been talking about, also in there, Big Sulk, Imami, Kinchadze, Demirtas,
Chamizo,
Sabalov, Abdurrahmanov, Budazapov. All those dudes.
You made up that one.
You made up
Budazapov.
No.
You did. You
JD,
did. Don't lie.
We talked about this. We talked about you cannot keep inventing wrestlers. That's not good behavior.
Budazapov, you said.
This is how he got through Carney. He just faked a bunch of stuff.
JD, we're live. People can fact check you here.
Everyone knows.
He's from Kyrgyzstan.
He's not from Kyrgyzstan. Budazapov is not real. We've talked about this.
So funny. There's man, I feel like when you read those names, there are a few. They're obviously all really good wrestlers, right? But there's a few that I'm not super worried about Dake beating. Say like a Demitraz, or how do you pronounce his name?
Demirtas, yeah.
You also would have said the same thing about Kadi Megamedov and
No, he was always
2021.
Hey, sometimes we're wrong. Once in a while we get it wrong.
But I agree. There is a clear separation. Tiers. Shout out Tiers.
There we go.
There's a clear tier 1, but tier 2, it makes me a tad nervous because it is very good. And not even with Kyle too, but if Kyle slips up again against somebody on that level, like I said, every match is going to be so good and important that you have to bring your A game, no matter who it is.
Also, like there's the possibility of one of the other big dogs getting picked off by some of these guys. There's some really good dudes. Like Chamizo Cotty was like really competitive. It was like a 9-7 or 7-5 match. It's pretty freaking close. That's in the ballpark. So there's also that. So I think to me, I don't know. It's gonna be a great weight. It's the weight of weights for sure.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's
even more
guys,
than 65 because I feel like 65 has maybe more variability.
That's true because there's probably not as clear of a separation in the tiers, but it's far less exciting. I mean, we've been waiting years for Kyle Dake versus Zarbek Sidakov. And also the rematch with Cotty, the one that most American fans feel like was a fluke that will never happen again. A chance for revenge for Kyle. There's so many storylines in this bracket. It's awesome. I truly cannot remember the last time I was this excited for a world's weight.
Yeah, it's super good. And we got a big dog. Wait, who did Ben pick?
Dake.
I picked Dake.
I don't know. Sounded like he was wavering.
No, I wasn't. I was calling you a communist sympathizer.
Wow. Well, maybe I'm just a sympathetic person in general. Is that so wrong?
No,
to have sympathy? Huh?
I said I don't think you are.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.